since we did have a population of 5 to 6 of them that hung out in the trees on our property. I saw them all the time and they were typically sized vultures. Nothing special. By Kevin J. Guhl / American Strangeness. While skeptics might remain incredulous about sightings of abnormally large birds, credible witnesses continue to report them. Do Thunderbirds, as many call these big birds in reference to Native American tradition, represent unknown species? Or might they instead be gigantic individuals of known species? Kurt B. shares this stunning big bird sighting that took place Dec. 20, 2023 on his property about 12 miles north of Lexington, Kentucky. So, we had a huge population of Canada geese that would use our property as a layover, since it had a big open field and a lake. They loved it. At one point we had probably close to 100 geese all hanging out in the field next to our house. I went outside on my back deck to see what was going on when all of them simultaneously started squawking and they all took off in an absolute panic in unison. I'm like, what the bleep scared them off? It wasn't me. That's when I saw what I thought was a man in an all black outfit walking out into the field. I first thought it was one of my neighbors, but then I realized it was a bird. A huge effing bird, man. I cannot tell you how crazy big it was, as I'm sort of panicking and feeling wildly excited at the same time and considering whether I should try to run inside and grab my phone or just stay and watch it. It took a short run, spread its massive wings, and with 2 huge flaps was airborne. Its tip feathers brushed the grass and it sounded like the hoomp of a slow-speed helicopter blade. One of my neighbors was actually a helicopter pilot and he landed his R-22 in my field one time to give rides to our neighbors. When the blade was slowing down once, he cut the engine. That's exactly what this sounded like. I would later go out there and measure roughly the distance on the ground that I remember its wingtips touching, and it was about 16-17 feet. I never saw its face since its back was to me. It was jet black and looked essentially like a freakishly huge vulture. I've seen an Andean condor up close and personal at a wildlife rehab facility in Peru. That was a huge bird for sure, but this was much bigger. It did not feel raptor to me at all. It felt vulture/condorish. The wings were extremely thick/deep and squarish like a condor. The tip feathers were probably as long as my arm and I, 6'4". My wife believed I just saw a large vulture, since we did have a population of 5 to 6 of them that hung out in the trees on our property. I saw them all the time and they were typically sized vultures. Nothing special. This thing was 3 to 4 times the size of them. I didn't feel it was paranormal either. It looked and moved like a flesh and blood bird just beyond belief in size. My neighbors all thought I saw one of the resident black vultures and just misinterpreted the size. Nah, I'm good with sizes and distances. I was a plane spotter as a teenager in the Air Force Auxiliary. I'm also a huge aviation nerd and I know the wingspan of aircraft. This was like a Piper Cub taking off from my field. It gained altitude and flew over the tops of the trees at the edge of my property, clearing them by a few feet before I lost sight of it. Kurt elaborated in conversation with American Strangeness that this cryptid bird, as he views it, was built like a hunched over vulture or condor where the shoulders of the wings sit up higher than the head. The wing structure more closely resembled that of a black vulture compared to a turkey vulture. Very broad and squared off in shape with distinctive tip feathers, said Kurt. Overall, Kurt estimated the bird stood at about 5 feet tall or more and possessed a wingspan of about 16-17 feet. Per Cornell Lau, a typical black vulture averages 2 feet in height and a 5-foot wingspan. He did not obtain a view of the front of the bird, only its back. I remember seeing an episode of Monster Quest where they had a poorly rendered CGI version of a huge bird with its wings spread atop a telephone pole. It looked very similar to that. It almost makes me wonder if I saw a black vulture with some form of gigantism or a growth disorder. I don't know. I just know it was not normal. Kurt compared the giant bird he saw to this CGI rendering shown in the 4th episode of Monster Quest //Brazilla// first aired in 2007, included here on a fair use, educational basis. I've read many accounts of these cryptid birds being seen near bodies of water and or wooded areas, and my old property checks both of those boxes, said Kurt, who has since moved to another state. This Google Maps image shows the layout of Kurt's former property, which included a pond and woods, and was near a creek. Map data copyright 2026 Google. Kurt regrets not being able to capture a photo or video of the giant bird during the moments he had it in view, but he provided this photograph below, showing the exact vantage point on his deck from which he witnessed the mysterious bird standing and then taking off. Its wingspread extended beyond the 2 trees on either side of where it stood. Kurt also provided a close-up image of the area where the large bird was standing. See below. I worked with Kurt to create and refine AI depictions of the giant bird he witnessed. Such images are not allowed in this Reddit, but I posted them here if you want to see them. Thanks to Kurt for coming forward with this fascinating encounter. If you have seen such a creature yourself in the area of Lexington, Kentucky, please let us know.